Welcome back to cyberpastor.com. I'm Pastor Andre Bailey, and today we're talking about relationships with my friend Wilson from the Tom Hanks movie Castaway. Actually, this is not the real Wilson, it's our own rendition of him. But he is a great example, and that movie Castaway is a great example of the topic that we're talking about, which is, again, relationships. As you can see all around me right now, hopefully my designer has me in a box and you're seeing clips from the movie Castaway. In that movie we saw Tom Hanks literally stranded on a desert island, and the interesting dynamic that movie captured was really a human being's need for relationships, to the point where he was willing to have a relationship with a volleyball in order to not feel alone and feel isolated in the world that he was in. And that is fascinating because in the Bible, in Genesis 2:18, God said this after he had created man. He said, "It is not good for man to be alone." So then, what we have to say is, if it's not good for man to be alone, then what bad things happen when he is alone?
Don't worry about a thing.
So again, in Genesis 2:18, God says, "It is not good for man to be alone." Or in other words, man was created to be relational and have relationships. That means this: although it's good for you to want to be a doctor, good for you to be a lawyer, good for you to want to run in the Olympics or climb Mount Everest or do all kinds of events and activities and have achievements in your life, the most important thing that you are created for is to be relational and have quality relationships.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, it's by my doorstep.
One of the most important things in the world is that you and I learn to bond, and that's have emotional connections in our relationships and with the people around us. Bonding is the natural glue that holds all of our relationships together. And here's the amazing thing about bonding. We are gonna bond with something. Wilson, for example, in the Tom Hanks movie Castaway, without anyone to have a connected, bonded relationship with, then Tom Hanks' character bonded and had a personal, emotional relationship with a volleyball. And you would say, well, that's so ridiculous, I can't believe, that's so far-fetched. But think about in your life and in my life, what are the things that we bond with when we're not connected with God and connected with people in a healthy, emotional way? Drugs, alcohol, working too much, the addictions go on and on. That's the word we use for when we bond with things that aren't healthy, addictions. But when we don't bond with other people and we don't bond with God in a healthy emotional connection, then we do find something to bond with. Like God said, it is not good for man to be alone. And man will figure out a way not to be alone. So what's the solution then? Well, I'm going to give you 4 quick principles that if you'll apply these principles to your life in the area of relationships, you're going to see change. Number 1, first and foremost, we've got to get back to the place where we put relationships as a priority in our life. Society tells us to make everything else important, making money, our jobs, all these things around us. But more than anything, we have to say that relationships are important and we're going to invest in them for our future. Number 2, if we take number 1 as a priority, then we've got to take control of our time, especially in regard to our friends and our family, and make time a priority that we place towards relationships in our life. Number 3, and this might seem simple, but it's a great way of reconnecting in the area of relationships, and that is join a church. If you don't have a good church, If you don't have a good group of people you're around, find a church and connect to them, and that's going to be a great opportunity for you to make relationships. Get back involved in groups of all different kinds, connection groups in your community. Find ways to connect with people. And last, but certainly not least, grow and put an emphasis on your relationship with God and connecting with Him. Because when you connect with God and you grow in your relationship with Him, every other relationship in your life is going to be affected, and He is going to emphasize quality relationships in every part of your life, everywhere you go. Thank you so much again for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow on cyberpastor.com.